What's up, guys? This is Showtime's Fight Forum. I'm your boy Showtime. Thank you guys for watching. Please make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. Like, comment, all that good stuff. As you know, we talk all things fights. And follow me on social media at Showtime Sanders, please. Once again, I need to get my followers up. But yeah, so today is going to be about boxing. We are going to discuss all the news that's happened. The past 2 weeks, we've gotten some fights announced, some big fights. I don't want to just say like regular fights, big fights. Um, One I'm not the most happy about, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you aren't happy about it either. And the other one, it's not that I'm not happy, but it's just like, ooh, that's gonna hurt. But yeah, so also shout out to Josh Taylor with an excellent fight. And that was a really good junior welterweight fight. Like it was, woo! Finally, we're getting two people that were undefeated fighting for the belt to crown who is the best in this division. Word out to Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford. Maybe we should do that same exact thing. But shout out to Josh Taylor for winning. Now he's definitely my pound for pound rankings, but he honestly might crack my top 5, man. He looks smooth, man, and them power shots was hurting Ramirez. So once again, great fight. I'll probably talk about that another time, and see what's next for Josh Taylor also in that division. But the big fights, the number one fight that honestly everyone was talking about is, unfortunately, we are getting a trilogy of Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury. Arbitrary came in and said, hey, man, like this fight has to happen or you have to pay this dude. And Tyson Fury basically was like, hell no, I'm not paying you $20 million to freaking sidestep so I can fight Anthony Joshua. I'll just make my money and beat you up again and then fight Anthony Joshua next year. It sucks for us fans, and as a fan, it just goes to show about how bad business is in the boxing community. Because this is where I really want to talk about is boxing. Boxing, you're an issue, like legit. These forced mandatories and these forced rematches are awful. In theory, I get it. In theory, it makes sense, and I would normally agree with it, but it's carried out terribly. How many times have we seen people like Canelo and others that has mandatories to defend their belts, but we already know they're gonna get washed? Yes, they're mandatory because they beat a certain person or have a certain belt, but we know they're not good enough to challenge them. And there's other people out there that are better matchups, and it just wastes time. This is kind of the same situation with the arbitrator. When you have these forced rematch clauses, it doesn't make sense. Like we've seen Deontay Wilder, we've seen Tyson Fury fight for like 19 rounds now. Deontay Wilder's won 2. I think we know who's the better fighter. We don't need to see this again unless Deontay Wilder goes on another tear and he just starts knocking everybody out to the point you can't deny him again. But there's no way you can tell me he's deserving of a rematch. Why? You got beat the first fight. I don't care what those judges say. The judges are fluke. We know boxing judges are terrible. But anybody who saw that fight know who won most of those rounds. Tyson Fury. The second fight was undisputed. We already know who won that. That was dominant. Why do we need to see a rematch of this? For what? Contracts, man? Forget those contracts, man. At the end of the day, boxing got to understand what is the most important thing. And that is the fans. Without the fans, you don't make your money. Without your fans, you can't sell sponsorships. You can't get endorsements. You can't get anything if you don't have fans. And us as fans, we have to start understanding we have the power in this. All right. We've already shown with this cancel culture thing that we've reformed a lot of changes in people. Now, granted, cancel culture is kind of also fluke, I will say. But I will say at the same time, cancel culture has created some really good issues to be solved. R. Kelly is the one I really think about. Cancel culture really got him, and which is really good because if it wasn't for cancel culture, let's be realistic here, R. Kelly be walking the streets today. But like I said, there's more situations like that. But us as fans, we have to know that we have the power, and we have to start to go to these promoters and say, look, bro, we're not going to support your fights unless you give us the fights we want to see. Today, we know the fight that we wanted to see, which is who's the best heavyweight in the world officially. And that would have been between Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury. We needed to see it. We wanted to see it. But unfortunately, we're getting robbed, and now we have to see this fight for a third time. And some people are saying, well, it's not a big deal. If Tyson's so much better, he can win, and then we'll get the fight again. Yeah, that's very true. But we all know anything is possible. Granted, I'm giving Tyson Fury like an 85 to 90% chance of winning, but I can't sit here and ignore and act like Deontay Wilder can't also knock him out. It's always going to be possible. Unless that dude doesn't have arms and doesn't have hands, he always can knock somebody out. So it is possible that he can win the next fight. and I'm telling you right now, if it does happen, I'm gonna be livid. Like, what's gonna happen if Deontay Wilder does win again? We're gonna get a fourth fight because it'd be dumb as hell if we have a draw and then Fury gets the finish and then Wilder gets the finish and we don't get a fourth one. So then that holds back even more the Anthony Joshua fight. And now Anthony Joshua is gonna have to fight Usyk, which is gonna be an interesting fight. I think Usyk is way too small, but we'll get into that later. But it's just, come on, man. Come on, boxing. Do better. You need to start putting your fans first and stop thinking about everything else. All right. Fans should be first, and we're the people that are making your money. So I'm just really upset about that. But when that fight gets closer, I'll break down that fight exactly how I think it's gonna go. More than likely, I mean, not more than likely. I'm obviously gonna say Tyson's gonna win, but I'll explain how I think he's gonna win the third time because he definitely won the first two. But who cares? But the fight that's intriguing, the one that's like, dang, just like the Peter Griffin, is the new fight that they just announced, which was random, which is Errol Spence fight Manny Pacquiao. Wow, what? That's random. And shout out to Manny Pacquiao. One thing you will never say is this dude is scared of anybody. All right, he will fight anybody. All right, and I have to respect that. That man is 42 years old, guys. 42 years old, and he's fighting Errol freaking Spence, who is 31 years old and literally in his prime, who is a top 5 pound for pound fighter, at least in my list. Man, he's crazy. And I'm happy this fight is happening because look, if it wasn't going to be Terrence Crawford versus Errol Spence, at least have somebody who has the belt, which is Manny Pacquiao, for after beating Keith Thurman. So I am happy that he's at least fighting a champion. It does suck that it is Manny because Manny's old and now, past his prime, and we obviously want to see Terrence Crawford. But I thought we was gonna get Terrence Crawford and Manny Pacquiao, and I would have been interested for that because that would have been easily Terrence Crawford's hardest fight ever. So I would have loved to see that fight happen. But Errol Spence said I'll do it, and I mean let's be realistic here. There's so many differences in this fight. Height difference. They have Manny listed at like 5'6". BS. He's probably 5'4". They have Errol Spence at like 5'9.5", 5'10". I mean, the reach difference is ridiculous. I think Manny's like 67, whereas in Errol Spence is 71, 72. I mean, bro, like we already know the youth factor. We got the size difference. I mean, this is gonna be a tough fight for Manny. Like I from right now, this is like my before I really analyze the fight and like look at videos and see like really break down each of the fighters. I don't see how Manny's gonna even make it to 12, man. I think Manny's gonna get stopped. The only reason why I say he won't get stopped is because Errol Spence just wants to prove he's so much better and carry him into a decision. But Errol Spence should get him out of there. Not gonna say easily because Manny's still Manny, but then again, we don't know. Manny hasn't fought in 2 years. Is he? Is he still Manny? Is Mother Nature caught up with him? Is he old now? Who knows? We don't know. I seen Errol Spence fight recently. He looked damn good after that accident. And he fought Danny Garcia. Ain't like he fought some scrub. He fought a great fighter. So we know what we're getting out of Errol. Manny, we'd have no idea. Is he still fast? Is he going to be hesitant like he was with Floyd? I don't know. But it's going to be a very tough matchup for Manny. And Errol Spence, he needs to put on a show. But yeah, I mean, it's cool. Good, once again, that we're getting champions fighting champions. But we all know the fight that we want to see. And hopefully we get that soon. I am excited to hear fight news. I mean, big boxing news. I mean, it's good to hear somebody's fighting other than Canelo. So that's in this pound for pound rankings. I know we have, like I said, Josh Taylor just fought, which was also good in an undefeated fight. But he got to get his name up because obviously a lot of people don't know about him yet. But once again, we got 27-0 fighting 62-7-2. You don't get people that fight 70 fights anymore, by the way. So like I said, I just love Manny. Manny's a dog, but this is going to be a tough fight for him. But thank you guys for watching. This is all I have as far as my boxing news. I'll keep on. As some more news come in, that's very, very important. But comment, tell me what you think about these fight announcements. And what can we do as boxing fans to get the fights that we genuinely want to see? All right, this is Showtime's Fighting Forum. It's your boy. Stay blessed.